Welcome back to Out of Left Field, presented by the Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Welcome to Matthew's Kitchen. So excited to be doing a cooking segment and talking a little bit sports with Matthew Cusatis, three-sport athlete at the Hazleton Area High School. He's a senior. Some people know you and they think, hey, I saw him, catching touchdown passes, grabbing interceptions. You punt as well, which I'm very impressed with. I was a soccer player. I love that. So you're constantly busy on the football field. You're a great basketball player for a high-level championship program at Hazleton Area. You won a state medal, silver medal in the triple jump last year at the AAA level. I don't know Matthew Cusatis for any of that. I mean, I do, but what I really think of when I hear your name is Cinnamon Toast Crunch French Toast, because you mentioned it once during an interview and I thought we need to get together and I would love for you to show me how to do this. So thank you for doing this. You like cooking, we've talked about this, but just tell me about how that came into your life, and is it still a part of it? Like, does it relax you? Is it a big part of your life, or am I blowing this way out of proportion?
It definitely still is a part of my life. Not really a big part, but when I was younger, I started cooking. I just wanted to be like the rest of the adults. All the older kids, everyone was cooking, so I wanted to get into that real world as soon as I can. I wanted to make my own food.
How old were you?
My first time I used a stove was when I was 6.
Okay, what were you making?
Eggs, scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs, so that's a good place to start. All right, who did you look up to? Like your parents? Like, who were you looking up to that was cooking?
Mostly my parents. My brother couldn't cook, so mostly my parents.
Like I said, it's more crumble than I thought it would be.
If it's too big, then it won't stick.
Dude, you got some power into that crushing too. I then feel the table going down. That's a three-sport athlete crunching Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Which teammate would you trust to be your sous chef? Who would be your right-hand man?
I'd say Kevin Buchman.
And why is that?
He's good at a lot of things that you wouldn't think normal people are good at.
Can you give me an example of that?
Like, he's a good fisher.
Okay.
He plays the guitar. Just random things that you wouldn't, like a regular high school football player aren't good at. Well, on a punt return, kick return, like special teams, it's more so on the offensive side. It's more so once you get the ball, you have to be able to keep your head up and see where your lead blockers are, which sometimes I don't do the best job of. Seeing where your lead blockers are, see where there's that hole, and you can kind of see, as a kick returner, I've been doing it for a couple of years, you can kind of see where the hole will be, seeing where guys are folding in, falling in. You can kind of see where that hole will be, and you just have to take it.
Is that the most pressure you feel in a sport, is maybe a punt return? Or is basketball, track, everything? What do you feel is the most pressure, when everybody's staring at you and you're waiting to catch it? Or is there another moment, or just none of the above?
I think two things is the opening kickoff of your first game. That's a little, gets you some butterflies, but also before 100 meter on track, that gets you going.
Do you think before that, or do you just react and go?
It's more just react, but still you can just feel everyone's eyes just looking at you. So it's kind of just like you have to lock in, focus, listen for that gun, and then get out of there.
So I was reading when you were the Standard Speaker Athlete of the Week, and they asked you kind of what you want to do with your future, and you said, hey, if I get a scholarship, I'll go to college, I'll go that route. But if not, you said possibly a plumber. Where did that come from?
So now the jobs that used to be common aren't really happening, like the hard work, hands-on jobs. Those aren't really in style anymore, so I'm thinking I'm good with my hands. I can hop on that wave and make something happen with that.
Are you good at like fixing things too? Like, can you could figure that?
Yeah.
And were you always like that, or did that come from like?
No, I was always kind of handy. Like when I was little, 3 years old, I was building Lego sets, following the directions.
Okay.
It kind of came from that.
Matthew, you seem like a guy who reads the directions and follows them. Does that describe you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You will not, in school, it's not the did not read directions, did not?
No, I read everything twice, making sure I didn't miss anything.
Like that with the playbook?
Oh yeah. It took me a little bit to master it, but I think I have it down pretty well now. I'll try one more. What we'll do is we'll make it just a regular French toast, and then we'll put this on top.
All right, so you're gonna do regular, and then you're gonna add the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm telling you, I think this speaks. I'm gonna ask Coach about this. I mean, your work ethic, because you really could have just made those two pieces and been like, here you go, I'm going home to have dinner. It's Thursday in school tomorrow. We got a big game coming up, but you worked till you got this perfect.
No, I'm gonna get this right. I'm gonna make it look good.
What's your favorite way to score a touchdown? Do you have a favorite way? Pick six, punt return?
Well,
Nice catch.
I had my first pick six.
That was your first one of your career?
Yeah, and it was my first special teams touchdown on that punt against North Pocono. So those are different. Those are really fun, because you always see them on TV and highlights, people running stuff back. Those are fun. I think on a punt return is probably my favorite.
Every time I talk with you, you're so calm. Now it's not in the middle of the game in that. Does the adrenaline, is there a little bit of, are you a little different after that pick six and that you're hitting the sideline?
Nah, I wouldn't say, because every time I've scored, there's still more game left, still time left. Kind of just like, we didn't win a championship, we won a game, obviously that's a big accomplishment, but there's more to come, so I'm not gonna go crazy, like start dancing, get a penalty. That's all for Twitter. I like keeping it professional, and because I know there's more ahead.
That's fantastic.
Pretty good, right?
It's really good.
But how much of Matthew Cusatis, the competitor, do you see in something like following the directions in a recipe, sitting here and waiting until he got it right? I mean, is that kind of how the football player he is as well? Like, willing to stick with it, he's going to follow it? I mean, was there a correlation there?
Well, sure. I think, and we talk about it all the time, and I think Matthew, he runs parallel with this in his thought process as well, as the standard is the standard, and we're not happy or satisfied with anything we do, because we know we always are approaching, never arriving. We can be better. And you see here, I mean, at first he did something, those first few that still were probably very good of a product, but he wanted to get even better. And that's something that it's certainly contagious. Certainly that it's something that's really special, and there's a lot of guys who fall in line with that as well. Something when you hear some of your players talk sometimes, and I heard Matthew throughout this entire interview talk with so much pride and so much selflessness, and making sure that he gives credit to his teammates. And then he spoke about how if you're too big to do the little things, you'll be too little to do the big things. And we talk about that all the time. And for Matthew to not only echo that, because so many high school kids, I think, can kind of regurgitate things that are said. Matthew's one of those who lives by that.
So whether it's French toast or fourth down on that football field, there's a standard, and the Cougars want to live up to it. Coach, I want to close. Hey, 20 years from now, Matthew mentioned, he wants to have a family, house. I'm sure he'd be happy to have you over in Matthew's kitchen once again, having some French toast. It seems like a lifetime relationship that's being built here in the program.
Listen, this is so good. I'm holding Matthew to the standard of I'm not waiting 20 years. He may have to make this again for us really soon.